In this section, we will learn how we can go ahead and how we can install WordPress on the Windows operating system. So if you are using the Mac operating system, then I would recommend you to watch the next section that is all about the Mac operating system. So as in the previous section, we got to know that in order to actually run WordPress, we need to have a server. And this is a software, XAMPP, that is actually going to convert our computer into a local server so that we do not have to purchase a web server while we are actually working or in the learning stage of WordPress development, so that we can have a private playground and we can practice and experiment with WordPress without purchasing a server. So let's just go ahead and let's get started. The very first thing that you actually need to do is to go to apachefriends.org. And this is a website that is going to provide you this particular software, that is XAMPP, which comes with Apache web server, that comes with a PHP compiler that WordPress is built in, and also the MariaDB so that WordPress can be connected with the database and we can actually install themes, add pages, and so on and so forth. So let's just go ahead and let's install this XAMPP. Since we are using the Windows operating system, we will go ahead and we will click on XAMPP for Windows. And once we will click on here, the XAMPP will be downloaded. Alright, so now once the XAMPP is actually downloaded, now what we have to do is to double click on it and it will open up. Alright, so now once you will open the XAMPP installer, you will be given a screen about the Bitnami over here. And then it is going to give you a warning. So you can disregard that and you can hit on OK. If you do not get the warning, do not worry about it. Now, here we've got this setup window. And now we are ready to install XAMPP on our operating system. So now the process is really simple. We have to just do the next, and next. So let's do that. We will click on next, we will click on next, and now here we have to select the directory where we want to install that. So we will be keeping that to be the C drive. And now we will click on next, now we will click on next, and now we will uncheck this. And now we will click on next, and we have to hit on next, and this is going to be installed. So let's wait till this is actually installed, and then I'll be back. Now, depending on your CPU, this process can take some time, probably like 5 to 10 minutes, so you can go and get a cup of coffee. Alright, so now you can see that the setup is now completed and XAMPP has been installed. Now what we have to do is to uncheck this that says, do you want to start the control panel now? And the reason for that is because I want to show you that how you can manually start the control panel. So you need to uncheck this, and now you have to hit on finish. Now where did we install the XAMPP? So we actually installed the XAMPP in our C drive. So what we will do is that we will click on here. Now we have got this XAMPP over here. We need to click on here. Now we need to go down, and here we've got this XAMPP control. This is going to be the control panel where we can manage our server. Now let me tell you one thing. Let's suppose that you start the server, you are building the website, now you shut down your computer, and now you open that computer once again. Then what you have to do is to go into the C drive, open the XAMPP, go to the XAMPP control, start your server, and then your website will be loaded. Alright, so let's just go ahead, let's click on here, and let's open that up. You can also open it from here, or you can go to the start over here, and now in here you can search for XAMPP, and you should be seeing this XAMPP-control panel over here, and you can start it from here as well. Alright, so this is basically the control panel that we have over here. And here it says XAMPP installation directory and everything. Now inside this course, we will be working with the Apache, and also we will be working with the MySQL database. These are the two modules we will be working while we are building our WordPress website. So let's just go ahead and let's click on the start over here, and our Apache server will be started. So if your server is not getting started, and if you are getting any of the error, then make sure to watch the next lecture where I will show you how you can go ahead and how you can change your port. And if you did not have any error, then also watch the next lecture too after completing this lecture, because that is really very important. All right. Once this Apache server gets started, now what we have to do is to also start the MySQL or MySQL server. And now you can see that this is also started and both are actually running. Once these both two are started, now if you go ahead and you go to your web browser, all right, and inside the browser, if you now enter this in the URL, that is the local host, all right, just make sure to enter this. And then now when you will hit enter, you can see that we are actually taken to the XAMPP over here. And here is the web page being loaded. That means that you have successfully installed XAMPP on your computer. So now, this local host will be your website address for the WordPress that we will be building. Like you can see that when we want to visit google.com, and then we hit on enter, and then we are taken to Google, right? Similarly, when you want to visit your locally hosted website, you have to start your XAMPP server, and then you have to enter localhost, and now you have to hit enter, and you are actually taken to your website. Now, when we actually install the XAMPP, basically XAMPP already installed some of the pages. That is actually the installation pages, like how you can go ahead and how you can work with the XAMPP. So what we need to do is to get rid of these pages, because now we have to start installing WordPress inside the XAMPP. So how are we going to do that? First of all, you need to go to your C drive where the XAMPP is. Now you need to open the XAMPP directory. And now inside here, you should see this htdocs. So open this up, and this is actually the file, this is actually the folder that contains every public element inside here. So if I just go ahead and I just press Ctrl A to select all, and I just delete everything inside here, this is what I want you to do. So make sure to go ahead, go into the htdocs and delete everything. Now if you go ahead and you go into the localhost and you hit enter, you can see that now this folder is empty, and whatever we will be adding inside the htdocs, that is going to be running as a web server. So now let's test if actually PHP is running. So for that, what I need you to do is to make sure that you go to sublimetext.com and install the Sublime Text on your computer. You can click on download, and Sublime Text is going to be downloaded. Now the process is really simple. You have to do next, 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 and next. Once you have downloaded that, now you need to search for the Sublime Text, and you have to hit on enter, and Sublime Text should open up. This is how it will be. So now once you are actually in the Sublime Text, now what you need to do is to go into the file, click create a new file, and you can see that a new file is created. Now what we will be doing is that we will be creating our first PHP file, and we will be running that as a server inside the server, and we'll be seeing if that is actually working. Now we will go ahead and we will click on file, and now we will select save, and we will save this file inside the local.c, inside the XAMPP folder, inside the htdocs. And now we will name our file to be file.php. Now make sure to enter the extension, because this is really very important. All right, once you have entered that, now you need to hit on save, and you can see that our first PHP file is created. Now if we go ahead and we refresh this, you can see that we have got this file, because its size is 0, and the reason for that is because there is nothing in here. So now what we will do is that we will write some of the PHP code to actually test if our server is running perfectly okay. All right, so what you can do is that you can write here less than sign, question mark, PHP. All right, now you need to give a space. Now you can hit on enter. All right, and now we are in the second line. And this is actually the syntax of writing PHP. Now this is not a PHP course, all right? We are just doing this for fun so that we can actually test like how actually PHP is working inside our server. All right, now once you are in here in the new line, you have to also enter once more. Now you have to add here question mark and greater than sign. Now in between, whatever we will be adding, that will be executed as a PHP command. So let's suppose that if you want to print something, we will write here print. All right, now we will be adding in here 2 brackets, and inside these parentheses, I will be adding 2 quotation marks, and inside this quotation marks, I will write here, it's working. All right, and I will just add an exclamation mark. Now make sure to also end your statement after the parentheses, you need to add a semicolon. That's it. Now you can press Ctrl S to save it. And once you have actually saved this, now let's just go ahead and let's refresh this. So now you can see that the size is actually changed to 34 because we have some of the text written there. And now let's click on this file.php and let's see if it's working. And here you go. It says it's working. So the reason why it's working is because we are running it as a server. Now let's suppose that if you want to run it without the server. So let's suppose that inside the htdocs I've got this file.php. If I just drag this and I just drop it inside the Chrome, now you can see that it's not working, it's just showing the text. But here it is actually working, and that means that our server is finally working. So in the next lecture, we're going to be talking about the port. That is really important. I need you to watch that lecture. We will be changing that port. And later that lecture, we will be working with the WordPress installation, where we will be installing our WordPress on the website. So stay tuned and bye-bye.